So hello and welcome everyone to this new tutorial session. In this video, we will understand about set data type. So we start off this video by understanding how we can define and declare sets in Python. Then we will discuss how we can add elements to an existing set type variable. Then we will also discuss how we can delete set elements. Then we will discuss some of the basic set operations such as iteration, and in the last we will discuss the use of some of the basic set methods. So without any further delay, let's jump on to our first topic and let's discuss what are sets in Python. Now basically sets in Python are just unordered collection of elements where each element must be unique and immutable. However, sets itself is a mutable in nature, which means we can add or remove elements whenever we want from our Python set. Now, one very important thing which we need to understand here is the elements or the data within the set are immutable. Now, a set element can be a string, which is also immutable. It can be an integer, or we can say it can be a number. Then it can be a tuple as well. All these things are immutable, but list cannot be a set element because lists are mutable in nature. However, note that a set itself is mutable, which means we can add new elements to an existing set or we can delete some of the existing elements from the set, but we cannot modify the set elements. Now, additionally, the Python sets can help in implementing the mathematical set operations such as union, intersection, difference, and even symmetric difference. Now, let's get started and understand how we can create set in Python. Now to create a set in Python, we just need to define the set of elements enclosed within the curly braces where each element will be separated using a comma. However, we can also use the set function, or we can say the constructor, to define sets in Python. Now let us understand this thing with the help of an example. So here you can see one basic example. First we have declared this variable prime underscore numbers. Now to define a list, what we are doing, we are using the curly braces. So if you guys remember, we were using curly braces to define dictionary as well, but the structure of dictionary is completely different. In dictionary we were defining keys and their corresponding values, but in case of set we are defining sequence of elements. So now let's come back to this code. So in the curly braces we have defined set of integer values. So in this way we have defined a set with integer type data. In the same way we can also define set with the string type data, and the set data type is also heterogeneous in nature, so we can define different elements. So in the same way we have defined another variable weekdays. To define a set we use the curly braces, and within the curly braces we have defined set of string values starting from Monday to Friday. Now if we want to check the data type of these variables, we can use the type functions. So here we are using the type function within the print function to print the data type of both of these variables. So let me execute this cell, and here you can see the data type of prime underscore number is this set, and for the data type of weekdays is also set. Now if we want to simply print these values, we can simply use the variable names within the print function. So if I execute this cell as well, so here is our values. So these are the prime numbers and these are the weekdays. Now here if you closely look in weekdays, so when we define weekdays in our previous cell, we started from Monday, then we defined Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and in the last we have defined Friday. But when we are trying to assess the elements, or we can say when we printed the elements, so very first is Tuesday, Thursday, Monday, then Friday, and then Wednesday. So now this thing here represents that sets are unordered in nature. Now if we want to create an empty set in Python, we cannot use these empty curly braces because these empty curly braces represents empty dictionary in Python. So let us look at one example related to this as well. So here we define this empty underscore set, and we define this as empty curly braces. Now if I try to print the data type of this variable using the type function, then we will get dictionary. So dict here represents dictionary. So if you remember, to define an empty dictionary we use the empty curly braces. This is the same case. So how we can define an empty set? So in that case we need to use the set function, or we can say the set constructor. So in the next cell you can see I have done the same. So Instead of using curly braces, I am using this set function without any argument. Now after assigning this thing to a variable, let's check the data type using the type function. So if I execute this cell, now this time Python interpreter has recognized this variable as a set. So as I told you, we can use the set function also to define a set in Python. So in this way we have seen how we can define an empty set. So if I want to define any set with set of elements, then we need to define a list within it. So to define a list, we use the square brackets, and now within the square brackets, we can define any set of elements. So let me put some random elements in this. And now if I simply try to print this variable, let me remove these brackets. And now if I try to print this variable, so here you can see we have got this result. So with this, I hope it is clear how we can create a set in Python. Now let's move to our next topic and let's understand how we can add new elements to an existing set. Like other sequence data type, elements or items of a set will not have any index value. Therefore, we cannot utilize indexing and slicing on sets to insert or update any element. But instead of indexing, we can utilize built-in set methods for this task. So we can use the add method with this set to insert new single elements to an existing set. After that, we can use the update method as well to insert or update single or multiple set elements. Moreover, the set function also accepts list, string, and even tuple as an argument, whereas the add function only accepts single values. So now let us discuss how we can use these methods to insert new data in a set. So here you can see one example. Now in this example, first I have defined this set prime underscore numbers, and this time I have defined only two elements in the set, 2 and 3. Then I am using the print function to print the value of this set. After this, here I am using the add method with it. So first I have to define the name of the variable, which is prime underscore numbers, then period, or we can say the dot, and then I need to use the add method. So I have defined add. Now within the add method, I have defined 5 as an argument. Now this 5 will be taken as an integer value. Now in the same way, I have done this again, and for the next time I have defined 7 as an argument. And after these two operations, I am again using the print function to print the value of the set so that we get to know whether the set is updated or not. Now after this operation, I am using the update method. Now in the case of update method, I am passing a set again. Now in this set, I have defined two elements, 11 and 13. And then after the set operation, again I am using the print function to check whether the set has been updated or not. And after this, as I told you, the update method also takes list as an argument. So in very last, I'm using the update method, and within the update method, I have passed a list as an argument. In the list, we have 17 and 19. And again, after this operation, I'm using the print function to print the value of the set again, so that we get to know the values of the set. Now let's execute this code block. So here you can see the result. So our original set was something like this. It was having only two elements, 2, 3. Then after using the add method, we added two more elements to this set, 5 and 7. And then we have used the update method. So initially in the update method, two values as a set, 11 and 13. And after that we used the update method again, but this time we have passed list of values. So we passed 17 and 19. So here is 17 and here is 19. So in this way we can insert new elements to the set. Now we cannot modify the existing elements because for sets there is no particular method that we can fetch a particular element from the set and then modify its value. Plus the elements in the set are unordered. So we as a programmer will not able to know which element is at which position. Now let's move to our next topic, and next let's understand how we can delete elements from the set. Now as we discussed earlier, we cannot utilize indexing on set. This means we cannot use the del keyword to delete the individual element from the set, but we can utilize various built-in set methods to delete elements from the set. So to delete elements, these are the four built-in methods that we can utilize. So very first is the discard method, second is the remove method, then we have the pop method, and in the last we have the clear method. So if I talk about all these methods, The pop method is basically utilized to remove the very last element from the set. Now as sets are unordered, so we will not able to know which element is at last, and it will automatically remove that element from the last. Then if I talk about the clear method, it will delete all the elements from the set. It will basically empty that set. Then we have the discard method. Now if I talk about both of these methods, discard as well as remove, both of these methods are utilized to delete the specified element from the set. However, if we try to delete any element which does not exist in the set using the remove method, so the remove method will return an error, but the discard method will do nothing. So let us practically use all of these methods. So here you can see one example. In this example, first I have defined this even underscore numbers set. So this set consists 6 elements, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12. Then we are using the print function to print the value of the set. After this, we are using the discard method to delete the element whose value is 6. And after implementing the discard method, we are again using the print function to print the set. And after this, we are using the remove method. And in the remove method, we have passed 8. So it will remove the element with value 8 from the set. And again, after this, we are using the print function. Then we are using the pop method. So pop method does not require any argument value. It will automatically delete the element from the last. And then we are using the clear method. So now let's execute both of these cells. So here you can see the result. So original set is this, which consists all these elements 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12. Then after implementing the discard method, we deleted the element 6 from this list. So element 6 is deleted. Here you can see element 6 is not present now in the set. So after implementing the discard method, we have implemented the remove method. In the remove method, we deleted the element 8. So after implementing this, here you can see the result. Element 8 was deleted from the set. And then if I move to our next block, first we implemented the pop method. By implementing the pop method, the element 2 was deleted from the set, because these are the set of elements which are returned after implementing the pop operation. So only element 2 is not here. It means it was deleted. And in the last, as we were using the clear method, the clear method has removed all the elements from the set. Now when we try to print an empty set, then in that case what will basically happen, empty curly brackets represents a empty dictionary. So in case of set, it has returned this empty method. So by this we can say this represents empty set. So till now we understood how we can use set in Python. Now let us deep dive into the set and understand the execution of some advanced set operations. So set in Python can be utilized to execute mathematical set operations like union, intersection and difference. So let us start with the union operation. Now to understand this mathematical operation, let us consider the two sets. So we have considered this thing that we have two sets x and y. Now the union of set x and y will consist all the elements from both the sets, including no duplicate values. So in the diagram you can see one representation related to union operation. Now how we can implement the union operation? To implement the union operation on set, we either need to use the union method, which is another built-in method in Python, or we can use the union operator. Let us look at one example related to it. So here you can see one example. Here we have defined two sets x and y. Now both the sets consist elements of integer data type, and after defining both the sets, we have defined another variable result. Now we are assigning the union operation result back to this result variable. So here we have defined this x, and this is our union operator, and this is y. So it will calculate the union of both x and y set, and it will store the result in the result variable. And then we are simply using the union operator to print the result. So if I execute this cell, so here you can see the union result. So in the set x we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and in the set y we have 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. Now here 2 is repeated 2 times, but when we calculate the union, it will only come once. So 2 is there, then 3 is there from y, 4 is there from x, 5 is there from y again, then we have 6, 7. So all the elements from both the sets are there. Now other than using this union operator, we can use the union method as well. In the next cell, we are using the union operator. So again, we have defined both the sets x and y. Then instead of using the union operator, we are using the union method. So first we need to define the first set, which is x. Then after that, we need to use the period. And after the period, we need to use the union method. Now we need to pass the next set, which is y, as an argument to the union method, and it will calculate the union of both the sets. Now here order does not matter because union operation will basically combine the elements from both the sets. So it does not matter if I write x dot union and I will pass y in the union method, or I will write y dot union and then I will pass x as an argument to the union method. And then if I execute, you can see the same result. We will get the same result. In both the cells, we are calculating the union. After union, we have the intersection operation. Now the intersection of set x and y will return only the common elements from both the sets. Now here in the diagram, you can see the implementation of the intersection operation. So consider that we have two sets, set x and set y. Now when we calculate the intersection, it will only return the common elements which are there in both set x as well as set y. Now to implement this thing, we have two options. Let's look at that. Now to implement the intersection operation, we can use the AND operator. So here also we have defined two sets, set x and y. Now in this set, if you closely look, in set x and y we have 2 and 10, which is present in both the sets, and then if I try to print the intersection, we will get 2 and 10 as a result, because these are the two elements which are present in both the set. Now other than using the AND operator, we can use the intersection built-in method. So how we can use the intersection method? First we need to define the first set, which is x. Then we need to use the intersection method, and then we need to pass the another set, which is y, as an argument to the intersection method. So both the operations will return the same result because in both the cases we are using the same set. Now let's move forward, and next let's discuss about the difference operation. Now if we want to calculate the difference between the set x and set y, it will return all the elements which are only in set x but not in y. In the same fashion, the difference between set y and x will return all the elements which are present in the set y but not x. Now here you can see one common representation. So while calculating the difference between x and y, it will return all the elements which are only present in x. So that's why the part in the x set is been shaded. Now let's look at the example. So to implement the difference operation, we use the minus operator in Python. So here in this example, we have defined two sets, set x and set y, and then we are calculating the difference and we are storing it in the result variable. Now if I execute this cell, here we got the difference. So we were basically calculating the difference between x and y, so it will return all the elements which are only there in x. Even the common elements which are there in x and y will be neglected. So if we look at the set x closely, so first element in x is 2, but 2 is also present in y, so it will not be there in our result. Then we have 4, so 4 is not there in y, that's why we have 4 in the result. After that we have 6, which is also not there in y, that's why we have 6 also there in our result. Then we have 8, and now after 8, 10 is also repeated in y, so it will be not there in our difference result. And in the last we have 12, which is also there in the difference. Now other than using these minus operator, we can use the difference method. So how we can use it? So after defining the set, we need to define a period, and then we need to use the method, and then we need to pass the next set as an argument. So here we are calculating the difference between x and y, and if I print the result, we will get the same result. So if you look closely, for both the cells we got the same result. Now let's move forward and let's understand about the final operation, which is the symmetric difference. So the symmetric difference between set x and y will return all the elements excluding the common elements from both the sets. Now on the screen you can see the representation related to the symmetric difference. So if we try to calculate the difference between set x and y, it will return all the elements excluding the common elements. So it will basically exclude the intersection and return all the elements. Now for symmetric difference also we have two options. So first we can either use the symmetric difference method, or we can use this operator. So if I talk about this example, in this example, first we have defined two sets, and then we are using this operator which I here selected. So after this, we are using this operator between both of these sets to calculate the symmetric difference, and we are storing it in the result variable, and in the last we are printing it out using the print function. So if I execute the cell, we will get this result. So it will exclude all the common elements. So 2 is there, which is common between both set x and y. Then 10 is there. So both these elements are excluded from our symmetric difference result. In the same way, we can use the symmetric difference method, where first we need to use the set, and then after the set we need to use the symmetric difference method, and we need to pass the next set as an argument to the symmetric difference method. So here in the next also we are calculating the symmetric difference between x and y. So when I execute the cell, it will also return the same result. So I hope with this all the set operations are clear to you. So now let's move forward and discuss some of the basic operations on set. So very first we will discuss the iteration. So just like string, list and tuple, we can also iterate through set in Python. And for iteration, we generally utilize the for loop on set. Now remember this thing, that sets are unordered. So even if we try the iteration on them, the result of the iteration will also be not in order. Now let us look one example related to iteration. So here you can see, here we have defined this weekdays. So in this we have defined number of string values starting from Monday to Friday, and then we are iterating using the for loop. So we started the for loop by defining the for keyword, then day is the iteration variable, then we define the in keyword, and then we are using the weekdays. And within the for loop, what we are doing, we are simply using the print function to print the day. So if I execute this cell, it will start iterating unorderly from the set. So here you can see, first it is showing Tuesday, then it is showing Thursday, then Monday, then Friday, then Wednesday. Now after implementing the iteration, the next basic operation is related to length. So how we can calculate the length of a set? It is quite simple. We just need to use the length function. So here is an example related to that. First we have defined this set x. It consists set of values starting from 2 to 12. All these values are of integer data type, and then we are calculating the length using the len function. So I have passed x as an argument to the len function, and I am storing the result in the length variable, and then we am printing the length variable. So when I execute this cell, so here we can see the element x consists 6 elements. So the length of this set will be 6. Now, other than this basic operation, Python facilitates a large set of built-in methods that we can utilize with sets. Now, we have already discussed the use of some of the built-in methods. So here you can see the list of built-in methods. So very first is the clear method. Now we have discussed about this thing. After this we have copy. So the copy method will be utilized to create an exact copy of the set. After this we have discussed all these methods from this list. We have discussed about using the add method, union method, difference, intersection, symmetric difference. In the same way, we have also discussed how we can utilize the pop method, update method, discard method, and remove method. Now let's move forward in this list. So we haven't discussed about these methods, so let's discuss them. So very first method in this list is superset. So this method will compare the elements of two sets, and it will return true if the selected set contains all the elements of another set. So it will basically return result as a boolean value. Then we have this is disjoint method. So this method will also evaluate the value of two sets, and it will return true if both the sets does not have any common elements, or we can say it does not have any intersection. Then we have this difference underscore update. So this method will basically change the set by eliminating all the elements that are also in the other set, which is passed as an argument to it. In the same way, the intersection underscore update method will also delete out all the elements from the original set that are not in the second set, which has been given as an argument. Now let's discuss some example related to these operations. So here in this example, first we have defined this set x. Is now the value of this x is set containing elements 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and 12. Now in this example I am using the copy method. So as I told you, the copy method will create a exact copy of the set. So what we are doing, we are creating a copy of x and storing its value in the variable y, and then we are printing the value of both the variables x and y. So if I execute this cell, here you can see both the values of x and y are same. Let's move forward and look at the another example. So in this example, I have defined two different sets now, x and y. So the name of the set is same, but the values are completely different. Now if you look into these sets, set x consists around 6 elements, 32, 45, 56, 65, 78 and 89. Then the variable y consists only 3 set elements, 45, 56 and 65. So if you look closely, element value 45 and 56 are repeated in both the sets. Now what we are going to try, we are going to check whether set y is the subset of x or not, and we will evaluate this thing using the is subset method. So here we are using the is subset method. First we define the initial set. So we are define initial set as y, then we are using this is subset method and we have defined x as an argument in this method. So here we are basically checking whether y is a subset of x or not. It will return a boolean value true or false based upon the evaluation. Now how we will get to know it is a subset or not? So a subset basically consists all the elements of its superset. So that's what we are doing in the next line of our code. We are checking whether x is the superset of y or not, and for this we are using the is superset method. So if I execute this code block, here you can see the result. Both the methods return result in the form of boolean values. So y is a subset of x, it has returned true, which means yes, and x is a superset of y, which is also true. So with this, we have come to the end of this tutorial session. I hope we got sufficient knowledge related to sets in Python. So thank you for watching. We will see you in the next one.